our parasha this week, a very basic instruction, an explanation of something that we have to work on every day. And it says that it's talking about when Moshe told Aaron that they have to bring him the oil for the menorah. And he's saying it, Shemen Zayit Zach Katit Lamaor. You have to bring pure oil. It has to be crushed. And it has to, the oil, the first few drops that come out of the olive, they're going to be for the lighting the menorah. Shemen Zayit, oil, olive oil. Zach means pure. Katit Lamaor, katit is crushed. So they used to take the olives and start skvetching them, and the first drop that came out, that was the zach, this pure olive oil. The rest of the oil that came out of the olive was for the salad, and the rest they would throw. But that first drop that came out, this is the katit lamaor. That's what they used to use for the lighting up the menorah. And the lesson that the Torah is teaching us here is not necessarily that because we don't light the menorah anymore. But the oil that would light the menorah was this first drop that came out. The first drop that was squeezed out of the olive. And Hashem wants us to light up the world. Hashem wants us to light up our surrounding. And how does He ask us to do it? By squelching ourselves, by squashing us. So Hashem constantly squashes us in many different ways. Our natural reaction is, why? Why does everything has to be so hard? Why is this not working out? Why is that not working out? Why do I have to be, so to say, crushed? The simple explanation is that Hashem wants to get the best out of us. The Shemen Zayit, Zach, the pure oil, the purest oil, in order for us to light up our surrounding, our life, our world. And that's the basic answer why we all the time have to go through all sorts of hardships. We know that a lot of the hardships that we go through are actually, a reaction from our sins, from our behavior. A person does something wrong, he will get right away a reaction. We talked about it at a time before, at last class, that there's no such a thing that Hashem punishes us. Hashem doesn't stand with a note and waiting to send somebody to punish us. Rather, we do a certain action, and right away we get a reaction. It's very simple. You throw a stone at a window, you smash the window into pieces. So the action was that you threw a stone, and the reaction is that the window is broken. Now go pay for the window. Don't whine, don't complain. You broke the window, take responsibility. So sometimes when we do a certain action, then we get right away a reaction, and the reaction is not what we like. But a lot of the things that go wrong in our life, you have to know when to separate, when it's my own action, and when it's just Hashem squeezing me. And Hashem squeezes us because He wants to elevate us to a higher level, but mainly He wants to get the best out of us, because if everything would be good, we're not going to do anything. And even if we do it like on a not full power. We just do it because we have to do it. So when Hashem squeezes you like the olive, it's only to get this katit lamaor, this crushed, to illuminate. And it will come in many different ways. Some of the ways that it will come on our own personal life. That things are not going to work out for whatever things. Can be with my family, can be with my friends, can be in my class, in my studies, in my personal life. The first reaction one needs to do is when something doesn't go exactly how they would like to, is first to do a personal review, an internal review. Maybe I did something wrong. We talked about it last week with our whole ego. That something happens to us, straight away we blame the person who did it to us. But when something goes wrong in our way, first of all we have to review ourselves. Maybe I did something wrong. I'm not that great. That person didn't come and curse me or pushed me or insulted me or took from me or said that about me. Maybe I initiated something. Maybe I have to look at myself. I'm not that great myself. But after you do a personal review and you can kind of see, okay, I was pretty okay in this situation, or I didn't do anything that is not wanted, or I didn't do any avera or any sin that caused a certain reaction, could just very much be that Hashem is putting me in this corner to squeeze me. And the squeezing is only to get the pure oil out of me. And sometimes it can come in a situation like you said before, something happens and it annoys you. Why is it happening? It has nothing to do with us, technically. But in certain situations like this, I just see that this is just the birth of Mashiach, the Chavlei Mashiach. Right before Mashiach comes, we know it's going to become harder and harder and harder. Our sages compare the coming of Mashiach, the birth of Mashiach, like to a pregnant woman. So 9 months, everything's good, everything's fine. And then right before the pregnancy, it's becoming very uncomfortable. Right before the birth, I mean. It's becoming very uncomfortable. And right when it's time for the baby to come out, starts the birth process. And the woman starts getting pain and contractions, and then it becomes more painful and more painful and more painful, and then you have a baby. Same thing with the coming of Mashiach. So now we're right before the birth of Mashiach. So the tzirei leida, the contractions are becoming stronger and stronger and stronger. So one might look at it from one angle and say, why is bad things are happening now? But the reality is that's part of the Geula. You can say the same thing that, the same way that 40 years ago somebody chas v'shalom died in a car accident, so somebody today in our generation dies in many other different ways. But this is part of the Geula. It's part of the birth of Mashiach. And that's how it's supposed to be. Mainly because Hashem wants people to do tshuva. When everything go not so good, it causes people to wake up and to do tshuva and to pray and to unite and to become more closer to each other and to review things the right way. But when something bad happens to you, when I'm saying bad, I'm not saying something necessarily negative. I'm saying when we're dealing with a tough situation, the easiest way to say is, why is it not working out? Why is it hard? Why everything has to be hard? Can it be easy? But again, going back to the same root of what we spoke last week, this is our ego. Because our ego is telling us, I want easy life. I want things to be good. I want everything to be easy. I want things to work out. If we would concentrate on our main behavior, we will see that most of it is ego-driven. Why do you eat? So what might one say, okay, I'm hungry. Yeah, you're hungry, but why, you in a very refined way, thinking of yourself that you need to satisfy yourself. Because one might eat, you can eat one meal a day and get it over with. But we're constantly thinking of ourselves. We want a cup of coffee, we want some cake, we want this, we want that. Why? You don't really need it. It's even in a very refined way, I'm thinking of myself. I wanna have some, a good cup of coffee. What's wrong with a good cup of coffee? So, I'm not saying having a cup of coffee is wrong. I'm just saying that most of our actions is driven because we want to satisfy ourselves. This is what's called in the terminology of Kabbalah, haratzon lekabel. Desire to receive. I constantly want to receive.
Can I ask you a personal question?
Yeah.
Do you ever have doubts about your Emuna? Because you saw what's happening, but at the same time you're a person. So
If I personally have doubts in Emuna, no.
do you feel like that's because you've seen what you've seen, or because you've worked on it so much, or both?
I think it's both. Both what I saw. Because even when you see things, sometimes I know many people who went through a near-death experience or some, whatever, out-of-body experience or some type of an amazing miracle, they still don't believe. The thing is with Emunah, with belief, that it's built into your soul. It's a component of your soul. It's not something that you develop. When you come down to this world, what you develop is your spiritual garments with your mitzvot. You develop many different things, your spiritual vessels, that the godly light shines in them with your praying. But one thing that you don't develop, it comes with your soul, is your Emuna, is your belief, because our soul is built from 5 levels. The lowest level is called nefesh. This is what we mainly interact with. A higher level than that is called ruach. Another level, higher level than that is called neshama. These 3 levels, ruach, neshama, ruach, and nefesh, are in our body. That's the 3 levels that we constantly work with. When I'm saying work with, I mean that we relate with. Above that is the level that is called chaya. Chaya is what's called tzelem. Non-Jews call it aura. This is a makif. It surrounds our neshama. Our shape comes from our tzelem. The tzelem Elokim nivra Adam. This is the level of chaya. It's a high level of the neshama. It doesn't penetrate in the body. It just surrounds the body. You know, in anything in creation, there's a or pnimi and a or makif. Or makif is a surrounding light, and the or pnimi is the internal light. So the tzelem, the chaya, is a makif. It's around our body. Some people, they actually have a sensitivity. They see your or makif. You see like this hila, you know, this shine around you.
I heard you could learn. It's like aura.
Yeah, yeah, aura.
Do you see?
If I see, sometimes you can do that. Some people can learn to. It's not about learning. It's about refining yourself. You refine yourself, you'll be sensitive. You'll see things. So mekubalim, yeah, that's what they see. They see the tzelem. The tzelem says everything. Tzelem is, let's say, our spiritual image, and we are a reflection and a shadow of the tzelem.
It's so weird. Like people just walk around and see people's image.
I don't think just anyone just walks around and sees it. But in order to actually see it, you also have to kind of channel yourself to that person. So, but this is off the subject. And then the highest level of the neshama is called yechida. Yechida comes from the word in Hebrew yichud, not yachid. Yachid is one. It comes from the word yichud. Yichud is a unity, a very strong unity. You see when a chassan and kala, a bride and groom, when they go out of the chuppah, they go into the yichud room. That's when they finish the unity. That's why you know when in a room, a man and a woman can't be in the same room together when the door is closed. It's called yichud, and they're together. So the level of yechidah comes from the word yichud, means that it's completely united with Hashem. It's part of Hashem. It's what's called chelek elokah. It's a piece of Hashem. Now this piece of our neshama is so united with Hashem that it just sees everything. It has no issues. It sees Hashem. It sees all the future. Great tzaddikim, how do they know how to either prophesize things or to tell a person and to tell that person about their life or what they need to do? Because they see the yechida of that person. We know there's a term in a lot of Hasidic groups that a Chassid would go into the Rebbe, he would go into yichud. Why? Because the Rebbe would look into that person's yichida and be able to say, okay, that is wrong, this is wrong, fix this, fix that, work on this. So the level of yichida, it sees everything. So it sees Hashem. So it has no problem with believing, it just sees it. Now if you have a very good connection, you have to understand that you can align all these levels of their soul. If your levels are all aligned, then your yichida, it like trickles information into the neshama. This is what's called mazal. Mazal comes from the word, when something drips, nezila, linzol. Mazal is not that I'm going to play the lottery and win, my luck. That's a translation. It mainly comes from the word that the nechida, it drips information like something with nozel. If I now take the cup and I start dripping the water inzal. So my mazel, it means that my yechida is dripping in information. Now my mazel is such a high level, the Zohar calls it mazaliyahu chazi, that my mazel sees, chazi, from seeing. So my yechida sees everything, and if I have a very good connection, then my yechida brings down information, sends me daily information.
What do you mean by information?
Information of what's going on in the supreme world. So it can be, prophetic things, so you can have in dreams, things that you see something that will happen. You can have very strong intuition. You walk into a room, you see things about people, you feel people's emotions. It can give you many different information. And of course, and things in Torah. You can learn something and not understand one word, and then you open a random book, you read something like, wow, this is unbelievable, and you totally relate it with your life, and you right away derive something out of what you learn. So all this information that is concealed from us is mainly because we're not tapping into our source. So if a person centers himself, what am I saying by center? Is, you take your nefesh, your ruach, your neshama, your chaya, your yechida, and your body, and you center it all in one line, so things are becoming much more clearer. So a person doesn't have to work on their level of emuna, he has to reach to that level of emuna and reveal it. Because it's in the soul, it's built into the soul. So when I'm not aligned, it means that, my body is doing one thing, my nefesh is there, my neshama is concentrating on this, I'm totally, how they say in English? I'm out of it. Like this one big mess. When you align your body with your neshama, meaning that you make your body do what your neshama wants to do, you start aligning your body with your neshama. This is what we talked about the first time, about kadesh et atzmicha b'mutar lecha, sanctify yourself with the things that you are permitted. We talked about the coffee, the third and fourth cup of coffee. I don't need the third cup of coffee. If I have this action of subduing myself, then I deprive myself, so to say, from something that it's not an isur, it's not something bad, but I don't really need it. So when I align myself, my kesher, my connection to Yechida becomes more refined, and then I reach to the depth of my neshama, so the level of emuna, no problem. Everything is 100%, and then when a person has a very strong connection to his level of emuna, nothing throws him off. So it's not something that you develop, it's rather something that you refine and you reach deep into it and you pull it out. So I'm not a special person, anybody can do it. You just have to concentrate on it. I have a 2-hour class online about Emuna, on faith and Emuna, that I'm basically explaining, first of all, where does it come from? The lack of the Emuna, and then practical things, how you actually reach to the level of your Emuna. And one of the ways you can do certain physical acts in this world that you actually reach into the level of your emuna and you reveal it. And what? Excuse me?
What's your class called?
It's called probably Faith and Emuna. I don't do the videos. I have somebody who edits the videos and write it. But it was a few weeks ago. It was the Baba Sali's yahrzeit. So probably in the title will be Baba Sali. But it's probably talking about faith and Emuna. The thing is that one of the practical things that one can do to actually pull out that level of emuna is when you bench every day. And most people have problems with that. They don't want to. You bring them a roll, they're straight away they ask you, this mezonot? Can I say mezonot on it? Oh, it's motzi, I don't feel like washing right now. Why? We don't understand really why, but we know that Avraham Avinu, how did he get his people? You know that Avraham Avinu was Megayer everybody, he was converting everybody. He had a tent in the middle of the desert, and everybody who would come in, he would give them a meal with steaks and wine and all the things that the heart desires, and then he would tell them, okay, it's free, just bench. And whoever didn't want to bench, then he would give them a $20,000 bill. The reason why he would let them bench, not necessarily, the pshat is that he said, thank the creator of the world who gave you the food. But in the Pnimiyut Einyanim, the mystical part of it, that we don't understand why, like many things, but benching reveals the power of Emuna. So when people have an issue with Emuna, it's a good suggestion to every day that you eat, you wash, you make a Seudah. And most people don't do it. Most people, frum people, they don't wash every day. They wash on Shabbat.
Someone doesn't like washing, does that mean that doesn't have so much emuna?
That doesn't mean that they don't have Emuna.
You mean eat but not
Yeah, wash to Ntilat Yadayim and they bench. It doesn't mean that they don't have Emuna. But the action of washing and eating and making a Seudah and then benching reveals the power of Emuna. Doesn't mean that if you don't want to wash, you don't have Emuna. You have Emuna. You all have Emuna like a tzaddik. It's just hidden in your body. It's hidden because your body is coarse and thick, and around your body you have thousands of klipot that you have created through the last 20 years. Whether you want it or not, we still create a klipot all the time. Every day you are a factory of klipot. You know? One bad thought, klipa. You did something wrong, klipa. You judged somebody wrong, klipa. You're jealous, klipa. Right away, we are a factory of klipot all day long. That's why at the end of the day, we say kriyat shema lamita. Kriyat shema lamita, you start breaking them all. Every time you say kriyat shema lamita, and if you say it mamash bekavan and you do it the right way, most people, that's another thing. Most people don't say really kriyat shema lamita. And if they say, they do the express version. That's another physical trick to get the emuna, to pull the emuna out. Kriyat shema lamita. But not saying, or sitting on the bed with your teddy bear and your you know, that's not kriyat shema lamita. Kriyat shema lamita is you go through the entire part in the siddur, with the parts that you don't like saying, depend on the siddur that you're reading. A lot of the siddurim, they have vidu in it, and tachanun, and a lot of things to read, and people don't like it. You know, I joke with my kids are young, I'm less particular with them, but when I come and ask them, did you say kriyat shema lamita? Yeah. What did you say, the express version or the long version? So they said, no, I said the express version today. So when people say the express version, then the reaction that it causes is so, I don't want to say severe, but if you have to concentrate on one thing throughout the entire day, make sure you sing kriyat shema lamita 100%.
Yeah, but isn't there something that you need to say and then you can't talk after?
Hamapil.
Very nervous. Say
Hamapil. Well, there's difference. It personally depends on the nosach that you read. Because the sidurim that are compiled by the nosach of the Arizal, the mapil is at the end. So
something that's in the beginning.
Okay, so some of the Sephardi and the Ashkenaz, they said in the beginning. So if you know you're not going to sleep right before you sing kriyat shema lamita, then you say the mapil without Shem and Malchut.
No, like if you wake up in the middle of the night.
That's a completely different thing. If you wake up in the middle of the night, there's nothing wrong.
Oh, really? Once you slept,
Yeah, once you slept. No, that's not the problem. The thing is, again, you know, I have a very long shiur online about kriyat shema lamita, and I really explain why we say it, what happens before we say it. You know, in general, kriyat shema lamita is so important. That's why I always say the same thing. If you have to concentrate on something, if you must have a real bad day that you didn't daven, you didn't bench, you didn't pray, you didn't do anything, at least make sure that you sing kriyat shema lamita. This is one of the most important things of the day. Kriyat shema lamita, the main three things in kriyat shema lamita is, first of all, you know, when we go to sleep, our neshama leaves our body. And it goes up to Shamayim. And it goes up to Shamayim for a few reasons. First of all, you charge your neshama. At the end of the day, your phone is out of battery, you charge it. Your neshama is out of battery, it needs to be charged. And if you wake up in the morning and you not feel charged, it means your neshama didn't go up to the right place. And sometimes you can sleep 12 hours and you wake up in the morning like a shmate. And sometimes you can sleep 3 hours and wake up in the morning like a tiger. So you know where your neshama went that night. The second thing the neshama goes up to, it goes up to give din v'cheshbon. It goes up to Shamayim, you know, it writes a diary. This is literally what it does, a journal. And when it comes up to Shamayim after 120 years, they say, yeah, you wrote it. You wrote what you did. And the third thing, the neshama goes up to Shamayim to testify in court cases of other neshamas. Like I said, that I had all the neshamas there. The neshamas, they go up and they testify. He stole from me. He helped me. So our neshama leaves the body. And once the neshama leaves the body, your body is soaked with kedusha, with holiness, all day long. You say a bracha. Said before that you are a factory of klipot. You're also a factory of mitzvot. You say a bracha, you start igniting light in your neshama. You said another bracha, 1,000 watts of light. You did a mitzvah, 5,000 watts of light. Your neshama radiates light. Now the body gets soaked with this light. At night the neshama leaves the body. All the robbers, they want to come and have a piece of the body, of the neshama, of this kedusha. The robbers, I'm talking about the klipot that are around us, different malachim, chitzonim, all sorts of spiritual dirt. It wants to come to the body and suck the kedusha. When are you sleeping?
When you do.
Excuse me? Let's see if you can make it.
When you do a mitzvah. What do you mean? Are they gravity? No.
Okay?
When you do a mitzvah, it breaks off some of the people.
No, that's a total different thing. But I'm saying when you do a mitzvah,
Is that like that?
you imagine you are like a light bulb. You did a mitzvah, you turned on the light. Suddenly, from complete darkness becomes shining light. So you did 500 mitzvahs. You are shining 3,000 watts of light.
We
If
still have the kippah,
the klipa, yes. So the light opposes the darkness. It's constantly one battles the other.
So if they try to grab at you or whatever, what happens?
All sorts of not good things happen. Now the thing is, when you go to sleep, if you say Kriyat Shema Lamita, you surround your body with guards. Read in all the nosachim, all the sidurim, anything. If you read now all the sidurim, you open up, you'll see that we all say the same pasuk. הנה מיתתו של שלמה 60 גיבורים סביב לה מגיבורי ישראל, כולם אחוזי חרב, מלומדי מלחמה, איש חרבו על יחו מפחד בלילות. You surround your body with 60 angels around your body, and we repeat it 3 times, once for the nefesh, one for the ruach, one for the neshama. You see that in Kriyat Shema Lamita, we constantly repeat verses 3 times. So when you go to sleep, you surround your neshama, your body, with guards. Nothing can come and penetrate. Forget about dying. This has nothing to do with it now. I'm talking about what happens. Your neshama at night leaves the body. You need to guard the body. And if you don't guard the body, then all these robbers, they come into the body. And imagine now you have a beautiful house, millions of dollars worth of a house. You go to a vacation and you leave all the doors open. So robbers will come in. Now they come in, they see this gorgeous house. They're like, hey, why should we take the TVs out of the house? Let's just stay here. Let's just camp in this house. Let's chill. Let's make it our hangout. And then the people come back from their vacation and they have robbers sitting in their house. So in this world they call the police, but in the spiritual world you have now certain roommates in your body. So it will manifest into your body. It can be with a disease, can be with mental problems. Half of the mental problems in our generation is that. Fears, anxieties, worries. It will come up, it will mess people's mind. People don't connect to it. But you have now a roommate in your body. Half of your thoughts, not your thoughts. Arizal calls it chitzonim. Chitzonim means something from the outside. Comes, why? The Gemara gives a beautiful example. It says, take now a barrel full of sand and a barrel full of honey. Turn the barrel that has sand in it upside down. Now the barrel is empty. Take the barrel full of honey, turn that upside down. Now the whole honey goes out. Then you turn the barrel back up. It still has a lot of honey on its inside. So all the flies come and all sorts of, insects. Same thing, you take a body that is full of nothing, turn it upside down, take the neshama out, the body's empty, nothing will come to it. Take a body full of honey, full of mitzvot, the neshama goes out, then the body still has a lot of, remaining of these mitzvot, this light. All these malachim, they come down, they want to grab a piece of it. Now if you have a guard around your body, Hamapil. No, you have to say the whole entire Kriyat Shema. Now Shema is divided in 3 things. The first thing is you guard your body. And that's one of the most important things. The second thing that you do is you do tshuva. Kriyat Shema Lamita is tshuva. It's time to do tshuva. Hashem gave us auspicious times to do tshuva. The main time of the year is Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur, the day is so holy that by default I just don't eat. And I pray, and the kedusha, the holiness of the day, wipes off half of my sins. But then we have every Rosh Chodesh. Rosh Chodesh is called a Moed Katan. It's a mini Yom Kippur. There's a minhag, many Ashkenazim, they fast on Erev Yom Kippur.
On Erev
Erev Rosh Chodesh, I'm sorry. But you know that a lot of people, the minhag that they do, this is based on the Zohar, on Yom Kippur. If you have a big meal on Erev Yom Kippur, it's considered a fast. So if you fast on Yud Aleph Tishrei, you have 3 fasts. There's an Inyan from the Gemara that if you fast 3 times, one day after the other, that's what they did at the time of, now we're going to do the Ta'anit Esther. It has extremely, extremely powerful powers of the fast. So many people, they do all the big Suda Erev Yom Kippur, they fast Yom Kippur, and Yud Aleph Tishrei, they fast again. But a lot of people, many Ashkenazim, they fast on Erev Rosh Chodesh, because Rosh Chodesh is an auspicious time to do tshuva. You do tshuva for the entire month. And Erev Shabbat, you do tshuva for the entire week. Right before you light candles. That's why you see in many congregations, the men, they say Shir HaShirim before. It's an auspicious time to do tshuva. But every night, it's the time, that's what the Arizal says, you do tshuva. You sit on your bed, and you do a daily review. What did I do today? Okay, I forgot to daven, I forgot to bench here, I said something wrong to her, I owe that person money. You do tshuva. Because if you don't do tshuva that day, 2-3 days pass, you don't remember what you did. How can you do tshuva on Yom Kippur on something you did 11 months ago? There's no such a thing. You cannot do on Yom Kippur tshuva for the entire year. So you have to do tshuva every day. And if you do tshuva every day, Chazal say, V'chol yamecha yu b'tshuva. Your whole life should be in tshuva. So if you do tshuva every day, then you know how to correct things. Imagine now you said something wrong to somebody. You know you hurt them. 3 days pass, you forget it, things come down, and that's it. What if that person is holding this anger towards you? So you do tshuva that night. But the main thing that Kriyat Shema L'Amita does, Arizal says, it's a tikkun. It's mamash a tikkun. And we talked about these klipot. Yeah, in Kriyat Shema L'Amita, you are killing these klipot. And if you do vidu in Tachanun, every time you bang, Hashamnu, Bagadnu, yeah, you kill thousands of them. So if you do tshuva that day, be'adchaf kidruchi, maybe I'm not coming back. Please let me go with tshuva.
So what if you can't, like you say it, but you can't concentrate, but you're still saying it? Is that
Concentrate on what?
like saying the...
So if you pray without concentration.
Yeah, or pray or say Kriyat Shema, you just say it because...
I guarantee to you, to the majority of the world, they don't have the kavana when they pray. So you still do it.
Right, yeah,
With Kriyat Shema L'Amita, you have to go by the nosach that you go. You have to learn the halachot, because some nosachim you say the mapil before, some nosach you say the mapil after. After you say the mapil, you can't talk. So if you know that you're going to talk or eat or do anything, then you say the beginning, the mapil, without Shem ol Malchut, without Baruch Atah Shem Elokeinu melech haolam. You say it right before you go to bed. But there's many halachot in it. You want to learn it. You want to make sure that you're doing it. And if you want to be particular and machmir about something, then you do Kriyat Shema L'Amita. And that's another one of the physical things that you dig into the depth of your neshama to pull the level of Emuna out. So by doing Kriyat Shema L'Amita. Forget about all the effect that I just told you. That's another thing that you will reveal the power of Emuna. And when you reveal the power of Emuna, you don't care about nothing. Because you are 100% 100% be'emunah im HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And you don't have to be a tzaddik for that. You just have to practice certain things. It's just revealing it. So there's many little things. People like the tachlis, that give me the what do I need to do? So if you want to reveal that level, then first of all, you make sure you bench every day. You do seudah once a day.
Should eat bread every day?
Even if you don't eat the bread, so wash for the seudah, eat a little bit of bread, so you can bench. The benching. The part is the benching, not necessarily the washing. But it's known that Birkat HaMazon reveals the level of Emunah. So it has nothing to do necessarily with me. You can do it yourself. A person can work on his Emunah and reveal it and bring it out to the surface. And you want to, because if you have 100% Emunah, everything is good. Everything comes from Hashem. No problems, no doubts, no issues. You want to do that. Excuse me?
Why specifically Birkat?
Why? That's what I said before. I don't know why. Certain things we don't know why. There is explanations why. There's explanations for everything. Particular with this, I just heard it from a very particular source. That this is something that builds the level of Emunah. And how I try to see that it works? That when I invite Shabbos guests, so sometimes half of the Shabbos guests are not religious. I invite people who are not from to my table because I want them to enjoy the Shabbat and get some taste of the Shabbat. And I see them under the table texting and going out to smoke. One time I had a big table and somebody was texting under the table. Somebody was sitting next to me. He's like, look, he's texting. I told him, so what do you want me to do? You want me to beat him up? So what if he's texting? Better than him texting on my Shabbos table than texting in a club right now. He's going to text anyway. So let him at least sit at my table, hear Kiddush, have kosher food, have food from Shabbat, and then I'm going to make him bench.
So you just bench everyone together.
Yeah?
People listen and say anything. People don't.
That's my request. You come and eat. At least bench with us. That's what I used to do with my father. My father is very stubborn. It was very hard and still hard to get him closer to Hashem. Because every time I tell my father to do something, my mom is like, she's like good already. She's on the tracks. But my father is very hard, because every time I would tell him he has to do something, you know what would be his answer? I'm not worried. I have you. I'm going to go up to Shamayim, I'll tell them you're my son. He tells me, יש לי פרוטקציות. So I said, to some extent, yeah, you have protections, but you still have to do your own thing. So how would I trick my father when I would invite him to my Shabbat meal and I would want him to bench? So I would invite only one man. And then I would tell my father, listen, we are three, we have to do zimun. So for us, just say the Birkat HaMazon, just for us to do the zimun. So I would get him to bench.
Can I ask you a question? I wanted to ask. What was your school to come back?
That I don't know. They didn't tell me. But the thing is that I do it with all my guests, like Avraham Avinu, and I make them bench. Don't do anything. Do whatever you want. You need to go out to smoke. Do whatever you want. I don't tell them what to do. When I have people coming to me to Shabbat, I'll definitely not tell them what to do or what not to do. Now I have a very old friend from many years ago, and we got back in touch now because I moved now to Israel. He found out that I'm here. We came, back in touch. And I told him, come to my house for Shabbat. He's like, look, my wife, she's probably not going to want to come because she's not going to feel comfortable and she smokes and this. And I told him, you come, I'll give you a room. You can do whatever you want. There's no rules. You just spend time with me. We'll sit and eat. You can go with me maybe to the mikveh. You go with me to shul. Your wife can do whatever she wants. She can do whatever she wants. She needs to smoke. She has to smoke outside. She will have to smoke outside even during the week because I'm not going to let her smoke in my house. So let her smoke outside. She wants to go on the phone? Okay. But let her first come here. And he was shocked. Really? You don't mind? I said, what do you mean mind? She's going to smoke and talk on the phone even at home. So might as well spend some time in my home. So it actually works, the thing with benching. So there are, mystical explanation why dafka benching. But that's, we know, is one of the acts. Another thing is Kriyat Shema L'Amidah. There's many different things that you do. You build your level of Emuna. And you want to do it because the more Emuna you have in Hashem, the more belief you have in Hashem, the easier it is to accept the reality. I'm not necessarily saying your life will be easier. Your life will be just the same, but you'll be able to easily accept the reality and not go through this turmoil in you about every little thing. Because you have 100% belief. Look at Avraham Avinu. He was the ultimate believer. No questions, no doubt. Go shecht your son. Okay, where? You didn't ask questions. Just ask, where am I going? Where and when? Just tell me. Even though one might say, a minute ago, you're telling me that I'm going to have, that my entire nation is going to come from the sun. Now you're telling me to kill him. He didn't even have this level of doubt. Why did you say a minute ago, wasn't really a minute ago, but why did you say before that from Yitzchak, the nation is going to come out? Now you're telling me to kill him? His level of emunah was so big that he didn't even, okay, Hashem said, I do. So any God-fearing Jew wants to reach to that level of emunah, and a lot of the things in our soul are built into the soul. I just need to reveal it, that's it. And it all boils down, all circles to the exact same thing that I talked right before your question, is that our ego, it drives us. This is what's called, what I said, the ratzon lekabel, the desire to get. And the more that I want to get, my ego wants to get, then I'm pushing away this emunah. The whole point of emunah is that I'm being battle, I'm subduing myself to Hashem, so I'm able to receive Hashem's revelation. But if I'm constantly in the motion of I want to get, this ratzon lekabel, then I'm pushing that away. So that's another way how you balance it out, that you work on your ta'avot, and dafka on the things that you are permitted. The things you are not permitted, that's, a taiva, it comes from you. It comes to you. You have no control. But you do have control of what's called ta'avot heter, things that you want, and they're permitted. So if you do yourself some type of a system, I give you then the example with a cup of coffee. But you know yourself where you can draw the line. Okay, here I'm going to control myself. You sanctify yourself with something that you are permitted. And when you practice on that, you see that your level of Emuna grows. And when comes the Te'avot Isur, the things that you're not allowed to, then it's much easier to overpower. All connected to each other. So you should definitely try it. I can tell you from first hand, the whole thing, the benching, it helps. And most people, like I told you before, you come and give them a piece of bread. Oh, it's a motzi. I'll eat the fruit. They'll go and waste a whole hour on Facebook, on watching a movie, on nonsense. But to 3 minutes to say Birkat Hamazon, that's hard. So if you look in your day how much time, how many minutes you're wasting on nonsense, you'll see that you can take 3 minutes, 4 minutes out of your life and you say Birkat Hamazon. And you say it the right way, you say it out loud, you pronounce the words, you don't say the express version. You say the words, you have to say the words. Say it out loud. You have a little bit of kavana, you're trying to understand what the words are saying. If you read the words in between, you'll see why the Birkat Hamazon ignites the Emuna. But it's very, very important, because if you don't have Emuna, it's very hard to serve Hashem. Because everything that happens, right away throws you off. And then when you come to pray, you're like, okay, what am I praying for? You come to do a mitzvah, okay, does it really matter? You come to do something small, Hashem really cares if I say a bracha now, doesn't say a bracha, if I do this, if I do that. Because when we feel separated from Hashem, then we don't feel the importance of what we need to do, because we don't think that He really cares. It's almost like with a parent. If you don't feel, if the parent doesn't give a lot of love and attention, at some point the kid feels that the parent doesn't care, so he doesn't do anything in order to satisfy or to obey what the parent tells him. So if you don't feel a connection with Hashem, and you don't feel that Hashem really cares about you, or that Hashem is part of your life, then you're like, okay, Hashem really cares if I do a bracha now? I'm by myself in the room, nobody hears me, nobody sees me, what does it matter what I do? That's the example I gave you with my wife, when she told me, if you remember when I told you my story, that my wife, that she was 10 years bouncing backwards and forth with the whole religious thing. Remember the story? Yeah. That's what she said. She was like, I didn't feel that the Hashem is in the game here. He doesn't even know me. He doesn't know what I'm doing. He doesn't care. He doesn't listen to me. What's the point? The thing is that one of the ways of building the level of Emuna, better to say revealing the level of Emuna, is when you follow the clear horaot that our sages tell us. Following the halacha exactly how it is. Because the human tendency is to round corners. They didn't really mean it like that. They didn't really mean. Most of the things, big things, we follow the general hora'ah, the general instructions. But when you go very particular about the dinim of every little thing, you're being, no, that's not how you're supposed to do it. And the thing is that our Yetzirah will constantly come and say, okay, you don't have to be fanatic, just do it. You don't have to be very fanatic about this act, just do the act. You don't have to do it 100%, just do it. And when you are very particular with the fine line, with the fine print, with little things, that's another way how you reveal the level of the Emunah. Because you remember how I said before, if you align your body and your neshama, then you have a very clear line to your yechida, you get everything that you need to get. And by aligning your body with your neshama, the 5 parts of the neshama is when I really follow the laws how they are, because it's very natural that we say, okay, I'll do it, but I'll do it my way. No, it doesn't work how you want to do it. There's very clear instructions about every little thing. I was explaining it to somebody yesterday because she couldn't get, and I told her to be particular with little things. And I told her, there's a din in Shulchan Aruch how to get dressed. First you put your shirt, then you put, if it's a man, and then he puts the tzitzit on, then you put the underwear, then the pants. And when you get dressed, first you put your right hand, then you put your left hand, then you put your right leg, then your left leg. There's a whole order how you get dressed. And a lot of people are like, oh, no, nonsense. No, it's not. It's not nonsense. If it says in the book, means that there's a reason for that. And there's a din in Shulchan Aruch that it says that first you put your right shoe on, then you put your left shoe on, then you tie your left shoe on, then you tie your right shoe on. And half the people who are observant, whether they know about it or not, they don't do it. And half the people they know about it, they don't do it. Oh no, big deal, right shoe, left shoe.
Little kids.
Excuse me?
Like, you don't think about it. Like, for me, at least when I was little, they drill it into you. Don't think about it.
I'll tell you in a second why we do it, but the thing is that if it says in Shulchan Aruch to do something, it's based on something. There's something that, our sages didn't just, pull it out of a hat and say, okay, let me annoy them, and I'll make their life hard now with the shoes. No, there's a mystical reason for that. I don't know if you heard, there's a story. About 20 years ago, there was a accident in the Air Force. 2 helicopters were transporting soldiers to Lebanon, and the helicopters collided with each other, and about 84 soldiers, I think, died in the air. 2 helicopters, somewhere here in the north. And there was one soldier who survived. And the story was that he was hitchhiking home for Shabbat, and this religious man stopped the car and told him, where do you need to go? He says, I need to go very far. So the man told him, listen, it's very close to Shabbat. Why don't you come and spend Shabbat with me, and Motzei Shabbat I'll take you wherever you want. So for whatever reason, the soldier agreed. And the soldier says, look, but I don't really keep Shabbat. So the man told him, listen, do whatever you want. I'm not going to tell you what to do. You want to come with me? You want to eat with us? Fine. But just I want you to sleep by me. So the soldier did that. And then in the Shabbat, he didn't really participate in everything. But at some point, I don't remember the details. Maybe he went with him to shul or whatever. At some point, he heard, whether it was in a drasha or whatever, he heard the point with the shoes. Okay, comes Motzei Shabbat, and the man, exactly like he said, he took him wherever he wanted to go, and that's it. And then the next day in the morning, the soldier, wakes up. I don't know how you say it in English, but in Hebrew, in the morning there's something that is called a misdar, that they all have to go into seder, in order, and they're built in the shape of a chet. So, like 3 walls, and then the mefaked, the commander, stands in the front, and all the soldiers are standing in the shape of a chet. So they're all standing, and then he remembers that he put the shoes the wrong way. So he asks the commander if he can go to the tent. He has to go to the bathroom, whatever. So he runs to the tent, takes his shoes off, puts the right shoe on, puts the left shoe on, right, ties the left, ties the right. The next day, the same thing. He remembers again. He asks again to go to the tent, goes back. After 3-4 days like that every time he forgot, he went back to the tent. The commander was like, what's going on with this guy? Every morning he's running to the tent. He goes to the tent to see what he's doing. And he sees him tying the shoes. So he puts him on what's called a court martial or whatever. I don't know how you really translate it. But he put him on some type of a court. And he got detained to the base for 30 days. And he didn't go up on the helicopters. And the helicopters collided. And he's now frum in Bnei Brak, this guy. He saw how being particular about a little mitzvah saved him from dying. He saw it was right after that. He got detained to the base, then they all left to the mission, and they all, Shem Arachem, died. The reason why we do the left and the right, you said you do it for little kids. You don't do it for little kids, you do it for yourself. Because everything that we do in the physical world, you have some type of a hamshacha in the world above. There's a Mishnah in Masechet Avot that it says, Dama lemala mimach, Ain roa, ozen shomat, v'chulu v'chulu. Know what's above you. There's an eye that sees, an ear that hears, a hand that writes everything that you do. V'kol ma'asecha b'sefer nichtavim. All your actions are written in the book. So the Mishnah is very cut and clear that you should know that something's above you, and everything that you do, an eye is watching, and an ear is listening, etc. But Chassidut explains, Dama lemala mimach. Know that what's above is from you. So everything that we do in this world, we're moving something in the world above. I do a mitzvah, I'm changing things in the supreme worlds. This is what's called hamshacha. You know that Kabbalah explains that when I pray, it's called hamshachat hamochin. What does it mean? It means that I'm doing something in the world above. That I'm pulling down mochin, the level of mochin, into vessels. So when I do certain actions in this world, I'm causing something to happen in the world above. So when I do the whole thing with the shoe is that we know that the midat chesed corresponds to tzad yamin, to this right side. And the midah of gvura, of severity, corresponds to left side. So first of all, I'm dressing my chesed. So I'm arousing and empowering the midah of chesed in me, kindness. And then I do the left side. I dress my power of gvura, of severity. But since I want my chesed to be full of severity, gvura sheba chesed, because I want my chesed to be done exactly how Hashem tells me to do, then I tie my left shoe. And what I'm doing is that I'm tying my midah of gvura first. That my entire behavior throughout the day will come and have the hamshacha from chesed. So my service to Hashem will be b'chesed. My patience to my friends will be chesed, kindness. Everything will be chesed. I'm tying my gvura. I have to have gvura. I have to have gvura in chesed. But I'm tying it. I'm controlling my gvura, my anger, my severity. Then I tie my chesed. So a little act, something like that, I control my day. And the thing is that every little thing that you do, if you have the kavanah when you're doing it, you'll see that it actually happens. You just have to be particular about what you do. You have to believe that what you're doing, that, okay, right now, you don't do it on autopilot. You're saying, okay, right now I'm doing some action here. And the action that I'm doing here is that I'm literally subduing and I'm tying, likshor. You know how we say in Hebrew to tie is likshor, kesher. If you notice that in Birkot HaShachar, in the morning prayers, one of the first ones that we say is Matir Asurim. Matir Asurim, you can translate it, is releasing somebody that is in bondage, that somebody is in jail, Asur. But the thing is that it comes from the word Isur. Matir is to allow, and Isur is something that are not permitted. So I'm matir asurim, I'm permitting, I'm allowing now to do whatever is not allowed to do. I'm untying what is forbidden right now, what is not allowed to. So the thing is that there's an inyan in Avodat Hashem that I'm tying something. When you tie something, you take a garbage bag, you tie it, you seal it. You don't want something to come out, you tie it.
What do you untie first?
Excuse me?
What do you untie first?
You untie the left first.
You tied it also? Yeah.
But you untie the left shoe first.
You put your right foot, you put your right shoe on.
First you put your right shoe on, then you put your left shoe on.
Then you tie your
Then you tie your left shoe on, then you tie your right shoe on. Then when you come to take it off, then you untie the left shoe,
everything is equal, and untie the right.
then untie the right, then you take the left off. You take the left off.
Right off first.
No, first you always take the left off. Even when you take a jacket off, you take the left off. You always take the left off first and put the right first. So, the thing is that the way I dress my body physically will manifest to how I dress my neshama. My physical garments correspond to my spiritual garments. Why do you think you're going with garments? Because you're cold? No, because you have air conditioning. You don't need to worry about if it's cold or not. We take our levushim now and we translate it to fashion and to whatever. But the reality is that when I dress myself physically, it manifests into my spiritual levushim. So every little thing that I do, if I follow the dinim in Shulchan Aruch, there's a reason for that. It's not because our sages wanted to annoy us and to make our life hard. Every little thing, there's a reason. There's a reason why I wash my hands. L'sirugim, one like this, one like that. There's a reason why I have to hold the cup and not just wash my hands like this under the water. Every little thing that says in halacha, there's a mystical reason behind it. The reality is that most people either they don't have the patience, or they don't have the knowledge, or they don't have the access to find out what's the mystical thing behind it. But every little thing that we do, there's a mystical thing behind it that causes what's called a hamshacha. I bring something on me. So if I'm very particular with every little rule in Shulchan Aruch, then I bring this certain kedusha on me, and by default I reveal the level of Emuna in me, because it has to be done with Emuna. I told you that story with Pesach, with my sister. You operate only on Emuna. Now if you operate because you are pressured, or because there's people around you, and you don't want people around you to say, oh, she's not doing it, everybody's doing it, but that's not the right way how you operate. You want to operate because you know that something happens. Because we operate in this world because we know there's going to be some type of a reward for that. Or something will happen. Why do you go to work in the morning? Because at the end of the week I get a check. Why do I eat? Because I'm hungry. Why do I go to sleep? Because I'm tired. I do some pula, some action, because I get something out of it. And if I don't get something out of it, then I don't want to do it. So if I know that if I get some type of reaction from an action that I do, then I understand why I do it, and then it causes me to want to do it, and to do it the right way, and to be particular. You look at some people, they're very particular about every little thing. This is another thing with the tying of the shoes. Because first you address the gvura. Gvura is the severity of being very particular, for example, with a lot of halachot. That's what's going to cause you to be very straight. That comes from the midah of gvura. So you want to... Excuse me?
It's not good?
It's very good. But if it's gvura in chesed, then it's good. Because I want to do the dinim in Shulchan Aruch exactly, and I'm going to be super machmir. You can call it machmir, you can call it fanatic, you can call it however you want. But that can only come from the attribute of gvura, that I'm being very, very particular. And you see some people, they're very particular of every little thing. They want to say bracha achona, did they drink exactly the measurement? Start calculating. I had one guest he was calculating how many grams are in this wafer. So I know if to say bracha achona. I told him, I don't know, I think it's 28 grams in each one. He was calculating to see if he can say the bracha achona or not. So one might say the guy's fanatic. Yeah, no, he's right.
Eat another one. No, that makes it life easier.
Yeah, so some people, they make life easier. Some people, they don't want to know. The point is that you want to be very particular about the fine print, because the fine print, there's a reason for that. And if you remember that everything that you do, it actually brings on yourself some type of hamshacha, then you know that it affects you, and you actually do it because you want to do it. Because you understand what happens when I do it. Even though it's annoying or... Excuse me? Yeah? No, I just, it can be in many different things, not necessarily with a... So, some people are less particular about the fine things, some people are more. And we started the shiur with saying, Shemen Zayit Zach Katit Lamaor. The point is that Hashem constantly wants to squeeze the best out of us. He wants the pure olive oil. Because when a person is not under pressure, he doesn't grow. The power of growth comes from when you are under pressure. When you're on vacation, you're not productive. You just sit all day long, you sleep, you relax, you walk around, you're not productive. Vacation is also good. You need sometimes a vacation. That's why we go to sleep, because we need to relax. But you're only productive when there's pressure, when there's a deadline. If there's no deadline, you don't do what you need to do. If there's a deadline, you do it. So Hashem wants us to be productive, so He keeps us on our toes, keeps us on alert. And that's the concept of the Shemen Zayit Zach Katit Lamaor, that Hashem wants to squeeze the best out of us. So when you get squeezed by Hashem, just know that Hashem right now is in a motion to get the best out of you. Should have a beautiful week. Should be a successful week. משנכנס אדר מרבים בשמחה. Should have to increase happiness. Happiness is also part of the Emuna. The Zohar calls Emuna ad de lo yada. Because there's levels on the sfirot, and each sfira corresponds to something. The highest sfira is called Keter. Keter is a atara, is something that surrounds. It's the highest sfira. And the Emuna comes from Keter. Zohar calls Keter tzniuta, modesty. So with the attribute of modesty, you can actually arouse also the level of Emuna. So the Zohar calls Emuna Ad Delo Yada, and this month we celebrate the Ad Delo Yada, that there's no difference between Haman and Mordechai. We have to reach the level of Ad Delo Yada in ourselves. You reach to that level of Ad Delo Yada, you nourish this Emuna. That's another thing, Tznius. I have a whole class online, 3 hours about Tznius, and it's all talking about that. So, I give you a lot of homework to do.